Hey there, guys. Welcome to Grind to Freedom. Here we're grinding towards our freedom. It's me, Dave, and welcome back. And today I want to talk about this is going to be very different from my other videos and is why I'm saving in Bitcoin. So, here in Grind to Freedom, we are talking about all the ways, side hustles, different techniques and ways for you to grind towards your freedom. And that's the whole purpose of this channel because we're sick of the 9 to 5. We're sick of all the other stuff. So if you like that type of stuff, please subscribe. Consider subscribing and liking the video for the algorithm. It will help us so much to grow. So this is why I'm saving in Bitcoin. Bitcoin has a 21 million supply, and it proves that it hedges against inflation. So since the dollar has been devalued since like 1971 that we left the gold standard, about 90%. Um, if you live somewhere in the United States, especially in like high paying states, you will feel that pain. You will feel the cost of the dollar losing its value. I lived for a long time in many high earning states such as New York and California. And I mean, I didn't live there, but I visited Hawaii. And like in those places that I just mentioned, if you don't have a high paying job, it's extremely difficult for you to live a regular life. Why? The cost of groceries has gone up, the cost of living has gone up, the cost of shelter, the cost of goods, and now with things like, tariffs and things like that, like things are going to get even more expensive. What does this mean? If you have a child, if you have a family, if you have loved ones, if you have elderly people you're taking care of, life is becoming tougher, tougher and tougher and tougher. And that's the point here of Grind to Freedom, is to help you see ways that maybe you didn't think it was possible, or maybe you weren't necessarily looking in that way, but maybe a video like this can literally change your life. Why? So here's why I am completely saving in Bitcoin now. Bitcoin went from like in April was like literally last month. Just so you guys know, I'm not talking about April 5 years ago, 10 years ago, none of that. I'm talking about literally last month till now. Bitcoin went from like, I don't know, roughly $75,000 to like 105, 107, something like that, and still climbing. That's like over a 40% gain in the period of a month. This has completely surpassed any bonds, any stocks, any of those things that people usually store their wealth, even housing. If you have a house, yeah, your house might gone up, but it hasn't gone up 40% in the period of 1 month, and maybe in certain times in life, but like when it comes to digital assets, this is one of the best ways, in order to have it. And also, it's as a store of value is great because let's say you have another friend or you have a family member of someone else that needs essentially to get money, you can essentially send it to them, um, instantly, instead of waiting, a few days. Let's say if you send someone a PayPal or Venmo or something like that, they have to wait days sometimes, and sometimes they have to be business days depending on who you're doing transfer with, in order for that other person on the other end to actually receive that money. So right now, basically what I'm doing is every week, every single week, I'm buying, and I'm doing it in a way that it's like automated. So I'm not even thinking about it. And literally the cost of me buying, um it has been it's not much compared to like what I normally spend. So I'm comparing it to like, hey, I go and eat out like 3, 4, 5 times a week sometimes, you know? So might as well put the same amount of money or more, into buying this asset that is going to eventually, increase in value and pay for my future self. So when you start thinking those ways of like, why would you do something like this, is because you're always thinking about your future self. You're not thinking about the now necessarily. If I was thinking about the now, if I was thinking like, oh, I'm going to pass away tomorrow and today is my last day or today's it, I'll be spending money like nobody's business. But the reality of the matter is that if you're fortunate enough to live in countries or in places where conflict has surpassed, there's no wars happening, there's no like major, you know, threats against your life in essence. If you're lucky enough, because we still live in a world that happens, and I don't want to get into that necessarily, but like, if you live in a place where like you can live a happy life, you can live a quiet life, you can have your things, you can support your loved ones, think about yourself. That's something that I've realized as of late about myself, is that when I think about others, I always want to do the most because I am such a great person and like I want to help people as much as I can. But sometimes when I thought about myself, I thought about myself in like the worst ways. And I've been changing that mindset, man, and thinking about what will my future self do. I understand that like the best time to invest was like yesterday, you know, and the second best time was today. So if I'm thinking about myself in the future tense of like, hey, where is this person going to be? I don't want this person to like grind extremely hard to have a freedom. I don't want this person to be 65 years old or 70 years old and have to go clock into a job because that person couldn't save enough for their retirement or whatever it was. And man, I live in a place that I'm surrounded by old people, and it pains me. Like it hurts my heart so much that to see so many people like very old, working fast food jobs, working jobs that like normally young kids should be working those jobs. um and they're like bending their back, they're like doing stuff that like physically they're limited to do those things. And man, I by the way, I'm sorry, I wasn't expected to pour my emotions so much, but like it hurts because all this suffering, all this stuff that's happening is because of higher ups, is because of politicians, is because of people, over there in office essentially printing the heck out of the dollar. And that's what's causing the devaluation of it. On top of that, there's been, as of late, a lot of people have been talking about, it's a lot of headlines and things like that, of like pay after, like Klarna and like all these afterpay and like all these different companies that essentially you can put things on layaway. So you can put your phone on layaway, you can put your PS5, you can put your whatever it is that you're buying. It's like, oh, just pay it later. And the thing that people don't realize about that is that you're making compound interest work against you. So it's the same way as a credit card. If you don't pay it in time, like compound interest is going to work completely against you. This was a trap that I fell into when I was young because like most people, I didn't grow up in a household that like had financial literacy or education, and like I had to learn things on my own by making tons of mistakes. And now that I understand what compound interest is and how it could work in your favor and against you through like credit cards, loans, predatory things like afterpay and stuff like that. If you don't pay things in time. So once you fully understand how compound interest work, you can make it work on your favor. And that's why, in my opinion, I don't see any bigger asset. Like, I still, don't get me wrong, I still invest in the stock market and I still do those things with the little money that I have. Um, but I never seen such an asset, and we've never seen this in history, you know. And if you have, put it in the comments below, debate me on this. I would like to know. I would like to get more educated. But like, I never seen an asset that has grown as rapidly as Bitcoin has in the last decade. Like, this thing went from nothing. You could have bought a few Bitcoin yourself, you know, to like now we are way over 100,000. Don't get me wrong. There's going to be dips along the way. This is not just gonna go straight up. You know, this is not a shooting star that just goes straight up. It's going to have dips. It's going to go down. You know, it's gonna maybe go below 100 again, and then again up and stuff like that. This stuff is gonna happen, but there's certain things that you will never see again. For example, I remember when I saw Bitcoin at 6K. Could have bought it there. Didn't. I remember when I saw Bitcoin at 15, 18K, 20K. These are numbers that, like, in my honest opinion, we're not going to see again. Why? Because of the supply. The supply is so limited that it won't allow for that to even happen, you know? And if you're still skeptical about it or whatever, like, again, just do your own research, check it out, do your own due diligence, check the information for yourself. Don't just trust some random dude on the internet just telling you something. I'm just telling you what I'm doing because I want to live in a future. I'm still fairly young. I don't feel as young as I used to, but I'm still fairly young. And I think about myself in 30 years from now. And all of the things that will happen 30 years from now are going to be solely based on my decisions from today. And today, when I look for opportunity, I'm like, okay, right now, there's a lot of opportunity out there. But at the same time, there's a lot of opportunity being taken away from people. For example, and I'm just making this little coma. I don't want to get very deep into this subject. But I just read an article that's being floating around about a guy that had 150,000 job, corporate job, and essentially got laid off by his company because his company is implementing hardcore AI and they're laying off thousands of workers. And now for him to make ends meet, he has to rely on Uber and DoorDash. A person that had a freaking six-figure job, working in a corporate, you know, and went to college, got this degree, applied for over 200 jobs in the same field and can't get a job. And now he's relying on Uber and DoorDash to make ends meet. Here's what I got to say to that person if you're watching me. Even the fact that you live paycheck to paycheck with 150,000 paying job a year, right? And you can't find a job right now. I can tell you, if you implement the strategy that I'm implementing, which is saving in Bitcoin, I promise you that 10 years from now, some time from now, your Uber and DoorDash side hustle, or now your full-time income basically, will pay for your future self. But you have to start deploying that tactic. You have to start taking action upon it. Bro, and you can start small. I'm not telling you give your entire paycheck to it. And I'm not honest, I'm not telling you anything. I'm just telling you what I'm doing. but like but essentially if by giving a portion, whatever percentage you feel comfortable, 10%, 5%, 15%, 20%, 30%, whatever it is, of what you earn into high paying assets, in the future, your future self will absolutely appreciate you. It's just we live in a world where like we value so much, or like at least society is telling you to like everything is for the now. Everything is for the moment, and you got to think of your now. Forget about your future self. Forget about your past self. Think about now. What you want now, and that's the mentality that you have to snap completely out of. You have to snap completely out of that mentality of like, I am just going to, live for the moment, live for the weekend, have fun now, because later it doesn't matter. Maybe later I don't make it. Some people have that mentality. And like, if you see the world around you, if you see the people around you, time goes faster the more you age. And you have to think of your future self, because there's people that I used to see very young, very healthy, very vibrant. And now I see them years later and they're decaying. They're not feeling great. Some people have like breathing tubes. Some people have like, health risk and issues and things like that. And you have to think of these moments, because hopefully, universe and God forbid, like that never happens to you. But you have to think of like, even nothing bad happens to you, something could happen to a family member, something can happen to a pet of yours, something can happen to a lot of love beings of you that like need your support and your help. And if not only you can give them your support and your help, but you can financially also help them, it will be completely life changing. But the only ways you can do that is by literally you buying high paying assets, and those high paying assets pay for your lifestyle. This is literally the code of the rich. If you want to break it down, it comes down to that. Whether that asset is a house, whether the asset is stocks, whether the asset is, you know, a trust, whether that asset is Bitcoin, whatever that asset is, those are the things that fund the futures of rich people's children's children. You know what I'm saying? So if you want to create massive generational wealth, consider saving in Bitcoin. Consider buying assets, cash producing assets that are going to produce the lifestyle that you want. If you want the latest car and you can wait 5, 10, 15 years to get that specific car you want, just literally take the leap of faith. Do your research, do your own due diligence. If you're getting bombarded by videos like this, by the way, how did I came along your feed? I want to know. Put in the comments below. Did I get recommended to you? Did someone send you my video? Did you just happen to randomly click on this? Leave it in the comments below, because I really would like to know. But like, if you're getting bombarded by headlines and articles and videos telling you, hey, Bitcoin might be a solution, or hey, cash producing assets, like, think of those things, actually consider them, and actually take action upon those things. You know, time is of the essence. So if you start today, your future self will thank you for it. And sometimes it takes a while for us to think about something over and over and over and over again, in order for us to actually take action and do it. So don't procrastinate too much. I'm not saying it's going to be late later. No, it's just you're going to buy at a higher price, possibly. So don't, if you're still on the fence, or if you're like, oh, I'm going to wait for the next dip, it's fine. You can do that and time in the market, but like it's about the time in the market, not timing the market. So the moment you're in and you just keep this, if you do it my way, you can do it like you buy it yourself manually, and that's fine. But if you do it my way, which is I'm automating things, I'm not even thinking about it, it's just happening in the background, it will give you so much of a peace of mind, because then you can focus on other things, or you can focus on actually growing your stack of money, that then you can keep deploying into buying some of these assets that are going to bring you wealth for you, your loved ones, your family, and the people around you. So, anyways, in conclusion, I am saving in Bitcoin. I'm going to continue to do so. Why? Because 4% yield on a high yield savings account is decent for an emergency fund, but I would rather have my emergency fund on steroids. I would rather have my emergency fund be jacked. And that's why I'm deciding, yeah, Bitcoin's the way to go, at least for me. If I'm gonna keep reading you guys, your comments and things you have to say, and based on that opinion, again, you can pivot anytime. That's the beauty about this. It's like you don't have to do this forever, or you can be this in this for as long as you want. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, I'm looking at this as a 20 to 30 year horizon for me. But even then, I might be from here to there. I might be in some numbers that I might be like, just let's just keep this going. Let's pass this down the lineage. Let's give this to my kids. Who knows? Who knows? For now, I can only speculate. But in the moment right now that I'm in, I can only take action, and I can only increase um, the amount of money that I put into this viable source. And again, I'm thinking about my future self. I don't want to be 70 years old and have to work because I have to pay a bill. So, yeah, if you like this type of content here in Grind to Freedom, that's what we focus on, is to help you grind towards your freedom. If you like this type of stuff, please consider subscribing. Share with one friend, two, or three that might need this more than you do. And there's a lot of people in your circle that might need this, so please share it. It will help us grow. Comment below. Um, what are you doing to grow your nest egg? What are you doing to essentially make your future self proud of you? Leave it in the comments below. I would really like to know. Like the video for the YouTube algorithm, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye bye.